CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the results of a joint investigation by London Police and OPP. They say they've arrested 11 people who face hundreds of charges after a year-long probe into a drug trafficking and weapons operation. Brian Bicknell has more on the case and its connection to a shooting at a hospital.
A shooting at London Health Sciences Centre Emergency Department in December of 2024. It shocked the community and eventually led to this.
This investigation was born out of the LHSC shooting.
Police Chief Tai Trong was on hand as London Police and the OPP held a joint news conference to announce the results of what they call Project Alias. 214 charges have been laid against 11 individuals associated with multiple networks. A year-long investigation into alleged trafficking of illegal firearms, fentanyl, and cocaine. Chief Trong says the hospital shooting investigation overlapped with a previous multi-jurisdictional investigation called Project Wrangler.
Other individuals involved in the shooting that were not arrested in Project Wrangler formed part of this investigation.
On January 14th of this year, multiple police services executed 14 search warrants on 9 residences and 5 vehicles throughout London and Toronto. 31 crime guns were seized, along with 25 prohibited devices, fentanyl, cocaine, and various opioids, vehicles, high-end jewelry, and $64,000 cash.
31 prohibited crime guns that could have inflicted an enormous amount of harm into innocent people in communities here in London and across this province.
This community feels when shootings occur. They're impacted. They don't actually see and feel all the shootings that we prevented from this.
The evidence display says it all, along with the drugs, more than 30 illegal firearms seized, and every one of them coming from south of the border. Police here working closely with U.S. authorities to determine their origins. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Additional charges have been laid in the explosives investigation near Western University.
The original 2 males charged in relation to a trespassing investigation at Western University also face an additional charge of unlawful possession of explosives.
4 people have been charged after a trespassing investigation on campus from the weekend. That led to a loaded gun seized and the discovery of hazardous chemicals inside a home near campus, as well as finished high explosives. According to court documents obtained by CTV News, 3 of the 4 suspects arrested reside at that home. Police say they expect to remain in the area for an extended period of time. London police say they've made an arrest through their investigation into a fatal shooting from last weekend. The shooting happened early Sunday morning near the Palace Theatre on Dundas Street. Police had said 2 men were taken to hospital and 1 of them did not survive. In a news release issued late this afternoon, police say they identified and arrested a male suspect, but no further details on their identity or charges were provided. London police are asking for public help finding a pair of missing teenagers last seen nearly 2 weeks ago. According to police, 15-year-old Maya Cooper LaRue and 14-year-old Aiden Cooper LaRue were last seen near Adelaide and Maud Street the morning of January 16th. They say they believe the 2 of them may still be together and are asking for anyone with information to contact them. Former Woodstock Mayor Trevor Birch is closer to learning his sentence for a sexual assault conviction. Jerry Dewan has more from the London courthouse and today's sentencing submissions.
The Crown's position is that Trevor Birch targeted a vulnerable 40-year-old woman. She had fibromyalgia, limited financial means, and addictions issues. During the trial, she spoke of being forced into unwanted sexual activities. Assistant Crown Attorney Christina Mildred noting the victim's testimony in which she said she felt like an abused dog. While acknowledging sentencing for sexual assault involving intimate partners commonly falls in the range of 3 to 5 years, Mildred says the victim's testimony and other mitigating factors warrant a 6-year sentence for Birch. Birch's defense lawyer, Jordan Gold, recommended a 3.5-year sentence, introducing 9 character references, portraying Birch as a man who buckled under the weight of his own life. He was entering into his 2nd term as mayor and dealing with the pandemic. Gold also says he had an affair and his marriage collapsed. Birch fell deeper into alcohol and drug use. Gold says Birch white-knuckled through his life without getting counseling. Superior Court Justice Spencer Nicholson will deliver his sentence on May 19th. Meanwhile, Birch continues to face a separate proceeding involving a 45-year-old former girlfriend. In that case, assault and sexual assault charges were laid. It ended in mistrial and is awaiting a new trial. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
Grade 9 students entering Clark Road Secondary School might get free bus passes this fall. Counselors will consider launching a 2-year pilot project next week that would cost up to $1 million. It could also be extended or expanded to other schools, but that will depend on usage.
I'm going to be looking at all the indicators. We're going to have some qualitative feedback from students. We're going to have some data from transit in terms of ridership and the use of the cards, see what the uptake has been.
We have to see kids using it. There has to be the want and the desire, but I think we will. I've been in touch with parents and students, and they are really looking forward to something like this.
London taxpayers might be on the hook for $7 million to help relocate an oil pipeline that isn't currently being used. With more on the reasoning at City Hall, here's Daryl Newcomb.
Widening Sunningdale Road to 4 lanes will require moving an unused pipeline, but splitting the cost with Imperial Oil doesn't sit well with Councillor Corinne Rahman.
I definitely don't want property taxpayers to have to pay for these kinds of costs.
City staff have negotiated a draft agreement to contribute $7 million, roughly half of the relocation cost, and it would drop to zero if the new pipeline isn't constructed in 10 years. A section of the pipeline is buried along the north side of the road from near Sunningdale Golf and Country Club to Canvas Way. It's part of a 300-millimeter connection between Sarnia and Waterdown. City staff say it's not currently operational, but it is pressurized and available for use if required. Rahman doesn't want municipal taxpayers subsidizing a brand new section of pipeline for Imperial Oil.
Especially if this pipeline becomes an active pipeline. This becomes another revenue stream for Imperial Oil. And so why should a city have to pay for their revenue stream?
The widening of this stretch of Sunningdale is one of City Hall's priority infrastructure projects. So if council agrees to co-fund the relocation of this pipeline, the decommissioning work would begin soon.
We have to move forward because it's taken us a long time to get to this point.
Rahman acknowledges that the deal negotiated by city staff is the best the municipality can do given the situation, but believes the renewed emphasis in Canada on energy infrastructure and pipelines means the senior levels of government have a bigger role to play.
Especially as we talk about the importance of pipelines across this country, that we have those discussions about how do we ensure that the federal government is at the table looking at the best interests of municipalities on issues like this.
The Infrastructure and Corporate Services Committee will consider the draft agreement on February 2nd. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Residents of an apartment building in Chatham say they've been told they all have to move out. The reason given? Renovations for safety purposes. But as Robert Lothian reports, tenants don't believe that's the whole story.
Within a month of learning their apartment building has a new owner, residents in Chatham's Terrace 40 received much worse than an introduction.
Actually, one of my neighbors, my wife and I neighbors, came to the door and said, "Did you see your eviction notice?"
Gord Harvey and 39 other tenants receiving notice they would have to leave the building for 8 months due to renovations for safety purposes.
We understand this news may come as a surprise, but it is essential that necessary work to be completed to keep up with rental market conditions.
The notices sent panic in a building of mostly seniors with an average rent of about $850.
Their worry is, and there's people in here losing sleep, that I'm going to be homeless.
Notices included a cash for keys offer, give up your tenancy, and receive $5,000. Tenants now left without any other choice, or so they thought.
This is a scare tactic, and I'm going to call it that because they're not very honest with the paperwork that they gave.
Housing stability worker Jeff Wilkins says municipal council first alerted him of the notices. A deceitful tactic he says is common in the province, serving as a form of renoviction.
So it is in the landlord's best interest if they want to do it this way to try to get rid of everybody.
The landlord is pointing to concerns over asbestos, which Wilkins says is not unusual in older properties.
You go into a church, you go into a school, there's a chance there's going to be asbestos in there. But as long as it's not disturbed, it does not have any ill health effects.
CTV News has made multiple attempts to contact the building owner, but has not received a response. As for those living here, more than 30 tenants plan to stay and fight.
So to try to get the landlord to say, this isn't worth it for me, this community is fighting, this building is too much trouble, and to get them to stop.
Robert Lothian, CTV News.
Officials with General Motors announced today they are cutting the third shift at the carmaker's Oshawa plant. As Beth McDonnell reports, that means as of tomorrow morning, 1,000 workers will be out of a job.
Workers walk into work at Oshawa's General Motors plant, some knowing after tomorrow they won't have a job.
I'm feeling very bad, losing a job. It's not easy to get a job, especially this GM. They pay very well.
He is one of up to 1,200 plant workers who have been laid off. About 500 of them are GM employees who work on the Chevy Silverado. Unifor, the union representing members, says the others are from various companies who make up the supply chain and work inside the facility. Are people blaming tariffs and Trump?
Guaranteed. 100%.
Explain. What are people saying about that?
Well, the tariffs are hurting us 100% all throughout Canada, but with the tariffs on the auto industry is totally wrong. It affects too many people.
The plant is going from 3 shifts of production to 2 shifts.
Because of things that are out of our control under the CUSMA trade negotiations that are happening right now, we're losing our third shift, and they're sending 50,000 of our units down to Fort Wayne, Indiana. In
a statement to CTV News, General Motors says the reduction is happening while preparations continue for the next generation of full-size pickups. GM has worked closely with Unifor to support impacted employees through this transition with comprehensive separation packages, retirement support, and other benefits. We thank and recognize the employees impacted for their contributions. Oshawa's mayor says he's confident a solution will be found.
It's just devastating that it hasn't come as of today. We've got to find another product to bring inside the plant.
Many laid off don't know what they're going to do.
Feeling bad because you got bills to pay, you got your family to take care of.
The final third shift runs until 6:30 Friday morning. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
Premier Doug Ford called these cuts disappointing, but says there's a plan. With more on the reaction, here's Siobhan Morris.
In a city where building vehicles is a tradition going back 120 years.
It's not a good day. We've had a string of them, and we've become, I think, sometimes desensitized to them.
It's very disappointing.
Ahead of a meeting with other premiers and the Prime Minister, Doug Ford insists there is a plan.
We're going to make sure that they have opportunities in the defense sector, life science sector.
A fulsome federal auto industry strategy is expected next month.
We have to get rid of the EV mandate to make ourselves more competitive.
And seeking out new partners, new investments.
Chasing as hard as we can for other companies that could take advantage of the skill set that the Canadian auto worker community has.
This week, Ottawa signed a memorandum of understanding with South Korea. 2 sources tell CTV News it includes talks to bring manufacturing here for brands like Hyundai and Kia.
Those 2 automakers produce about 250 or sell about 250,000 cars in Canada, and they don't build any here at all.
A distant glimmer of hope for people caught in the middle of a tariff war.
People that lost a job at GM or Stellantis in Brampton, there should be a priority hiring them first.
But a volatile president may have Korean automakers looking over their shoulders.
$3-4 billion investment in the Canadian market right now isn't exactly going to help the image in the United States, and it might put a target on your back south of the border.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Still to come, where's the winner? Lottery officials say a jackpot ticket worth $80 million was sold here in London, but it's still unclaimed. Canada's main stock index was weighed down by losses in the basic materials sector. The TSX lost 160 points. In New York, the Dow gained 56. The Nasdaq fell 172. The Canadian dollar up almost a third of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $14 an ounce. Oil added $2.21 a barrel. Strong words from BC's Premier today over a reported meeting between Alberta separatist leaders and White House officials. He called those actions treason, in stark contrast to the work his provincial colleagues have been pursuing in Ottawa these last 2 days. With more, here's Abigail Beeman.
Our country is more united, ambitious, and determined than it has been in decades.
All premiers and the Prime Minister around the table in Ottawa, but that message of unity is infringed on by a Financial Times report. The Alberta separatism movement has been meeting the Trump administration and is seeking $500 billion in credit in the event of a successful referendum.
To go to a foreign country and to ask for assistance in breaking up Canada, there's an old-fashioned word for that, and that word is treason.
It's ludicrous, right? I mean, we're there on a fact-finding basis. If there's nothing treasonous about it.
The group says it did meet with U.S. officials, but is only doing a feasibility study
To determine whether that facility would be available on a going forward basis, and whether it's with U.S. Treasury or Goldman Sachs or J.P. Morgan through a bond issue.
The U.S. State Department said it regularly meets with civil society types and no commitments were made. A similar response from the White House, which tells CTV News no support or commitments were conveyed. The U.S. Secretary of the Treasury has weighed in on separatism before.
Alberta is a natural partner for the U.S.
I would expect that the U.S. administration would respect Canadian sovereignty and that they would confine their discussion about Alberta's democratic process to Albertans and to Canadians. And I will raise that with my delegate in Washington.
At the closing press conference, the Prime Minister would not answer whether he felt there was foreign interference from the United States.
I expect the U.S. administration to respect Canadian sovereignty. I'm always clear in my conversation with President Trump to that effect, and then move on to what we can do together.
While Canada faces separation speculation further east too, with the rise in popularity of Quebec's Parti Québécois.
He's going to call a referendum. If he, God forbid, he gets elected, I mark my words, within a year and a half, he'll be calling a referendum to separate from Canada. Unacceptable.
As for the substance of the meetings, a big focus was the upcoming review of the North American Free Trade Deal. The Prime Minister said he and the premiers agreed to meet monthly once that review is underway. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Good evening. Frigid wind chills overnight with a cold weather warning in effect. Thanks, Roxanne. Check out Ruby. This is Ruby out in the snow with her suspender boots on. I love the color. Perfect for her. Minus 25 first thing in the morning. Wow, that is frigid. The coldest air of the season arrives to southern Ontario tonight, and it will be with us as we head into tomorrow morning. Bundle up, layer up, and stay safe in the cold. I'll have your local forecast details coming up in just a few.
Welcome back on the desk with Julie Atchison now, and as I can tell from that map over your shoulder there, a lot of blue, a lot of cold, especially with the wind chill right now.
Yeah, wind chills overnight from minus 30 to minus 35. That's frigid, bone chilling. Spending any time outside, you need to be bundled up. You need all of your layers. You can experience frostbite in a matter of minutes when wind chills get this cold. So please be mindful of that as you prepare to head out the door, especially into tomorrow morning. Our high today, minus 12, our low, minus 14. There's your record, minus 25.6, and that was set back in 1904. Sunset this evening was at 5:33, so we're starting to get a little bit longer in our days, so that's nice. Temperatures, not so nice. The coldest air of the winter season arrives to southern Ontario tonight, with overnight lows from minus 20 to minus 25. Snow squalls have been plaguing Midwestern Ontario. The snow squalls are winding down out there tonight. That's some good news, Huron County. I'm sorry you have been blasted with rounds of lake effect snow. Flurries continuing for you tonight, but really starting to see the heavier squalls wind down. We will have some isolated squalls in your county tomorrow, but they will be shifting to the northern part of Huron County and southern Bruce. You can see one snow squall just trying to come inland there. So keeping an eye on that heading into the afternoon. Other than that, the rest of the area looks pretty good. Expecting a mix of sun and cloud to cloudy with sunny breaks. Snowfall amounts in Huron County you've been digging out. Your snowbanks continuing to get higher. You can see that area right near the lakeshore could see about 5 centimeters, but generally just trace amounts of snow. So good news on the winding down of the snow squalls, at least temporarily. Mix of sun and cloud for your Friday. Daytime high -13, winds out of the northwest. Cloudy with sunny breaks in the afternoon. Probability of flurries just 30% in London. Saturday and Sunday, mix of sun and cloud to mainly sunny. The overnight lows are extremely cold, and they'll hold as we head right through the weekend. Daytime high starts to come up on Sunday. We're back up to -7. So, of course, you're wondering, when are we getting back to normal? When are we going to battle our way out of the deep freeze? It won't be until midweek next week where we start to see temperatures and just kind of return to normal. Again, normally we're at about -3. I'll get out of the way so you can see your forecast. A 40% chance of flurries on Monday for your Groundhog Day, -4 to -5 heading into early next week. Mix of sun and cloud Wednesday and Thursday, but the good news is those overnight lows coming up as well. Midwestern Ontario, still some isolated squalls possible tomorrow, just in northern Huron County and southern Bruce. The rest of the region should see a fair amount of sunshine, although it will be cold. -10 for your Saturday under a mix of sun and cloud. Still some flurries around, although the probability starts to drop off. Most areas will see more sunshine than flurries on Saturday. Sunday, mainly sunny across the region. For your friends that are heading to Wyerton, Groundhog Day in Wyerton, Willie, we are expecting mainly cloudy conditions, with just a chance of flurries. The high -9. That'll be a cold morning. -5 to -6 Tuesday into Wednesday, and mainly cloudy with breaks as we head into Thursday. So improving conditions, still snow-covered roads across Midwestern Ontario. Please leave yourself lots of extra time. Sunshine this weekend and much better conditions for traveling locally as we head through the region this weekend. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks very much, Julie. A new survey suggests Canadians are most concerned about the cost of groceries when it comes to managing their expenses this year. With more on the findings and the impact on spending habits, here's Alex Karpa.
Hard to make decisions.
A trip to the grocery store is not an easy one for Ben Nye.
It's really expensive here.
Soaring prices at checkout are forcing him to carefully consider what meals he can afford to make.
That's not bad. $4.99.
Being currently unemployed and searching for work has made it a struggle to pay the bills.
As a consumer, we're being hit hard, and it's being difficult for us to actually be able to afford anything anymore.
Nye has even resorted to selling many of his things just to cover costs.
It's difficult trying to make ends meet.
Like Ben, many are feeling the impacts of rising grocery prices. A new survey finds that the biggest concerns around costs for Canadians is right here at the grocery store. A new Nanos research poll for CTV News finds grocery prices worry Canadians more than housing costs as inflation continues to rise. More than half of Canadians say groceries are top of mind when looking to save money this year, followed by housing at almost 25% and healthcare at nearly 10%.
It speaks to the pressure that Canadians are under and how groceries are at the top of the list, significantly ahead of things like housing and healthcare and fuel and entertainment, all those things.
But experts warn that relief may not come anytime soon.
The story on tariffs are going to continue as we're trying to renew CUMSO with a very unfortunate negotiating opponent in the United States. Could be looking at, a bad year next year as well.
Let's try this.
As prices continue to climb with no end in sight, Nye says he will do whatever it takes just to stay afloat. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Tonight's Slopes Report is brought to you by Buller Mountain. It's chilly out there, but spectacular conditions for skiing and snowboarding. Buller picked up trace amounts of snow over the last 24 hours. Conditions are machine groomed. All 15 runs are open. Great skiing for all levels. And don't forget, Buller's Tubing Park is open, making it a perfect option for families and anyone looking for a little extra fun off the slopes. Blue Mountain is reporting 7 centimeters of fresh snow. Conditions are machine groomed with packed powder, and 41 of 43 runs are open. At Horseshoe Resort, machine groomed powder conditions, 23 of 28 runs are open, and skiing remains solid. For cross-country skiers, conditions are excellent. Pinery Provincial Park has a hard-packed base and 27 kilometers of track-set trails. At Circle R Ranch, all ski trails are open. 14 kilometers of trails make for fantastic skiing. Snowshoe trails are also fully open with fresh snow on top. That's your ski report. Enjoy the fresh air, bundle up, layer up, and have fun.
Well, finally tonight, the wait for a winner. Lottery officials say there's an $80 million ticket out there that was purchased here in London. As Sean Irvin reports, once claimed it would be one of the largest jackpots in Canadian history.
Winner, Daniel. It's out there. Somewhere, a Londoner or a group of Londoners is sitting on an $80 million payday. A month after OLG officials announced the jackpot ticket was sold at a still-to-be-revealed city retailer, no one has formally claimed the prize.
We are still waiting. We have had no contact with the winner or winners because we don't know if it is one person holding the ticket or a group of people holding the ticket.
The delay is not unusual.
The winners do take their time. They take at least a few months to talk to financial advisors, to talk to lawyers, to talk to bankers.
In 2019, a St. Thomas couple hit it big, but they did not come forward without advice.
We're quite comfortable with a group of people that we've chosen to help us through these decisions in the next 3 to 6 months.
Securing a jackpot ticket is a big consideration. Many winners put trust in experts, but not all.
As soon as they reach their financial advisor, they will put it in a safety deposit box. Some people do put it just in a junk drawer in the kitchen. That's the one that scares me the most.
But with horror stories of pets and laundry machines eating tickets, the OLG encourages winners to contact them as soon as they have their ducks in a row.
In this case, when it's worth $80 million, we want to make sure that that ticket is secure and that you do come forward as soon as possible.
Batanti concedes the process is life-changing, but also the start of an opportunity. Some winners have shared their fortunes with others, including this Ottawa $70 million winner who gave away thousands this past Christmas. But whatever London's newest mega millionaire decides to do with the cash is up to them.
This is overwhelming. You have become a multi-millionaire overnight.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.